You may have heard me talk many times about shifting the assemblage point and how we can do that rather instantaneously with our breath, and how this can center us and help us when we're stressed or in a panic attack. And you might have also heard me say, everything in the Native American path always goes deeper. So here's the deeper part. When you just shift your breath like that to calm you down, you get a great benefit from it, no doubt. But there's a way to get even more benefit out of this teaching, and that's by following the teaching of either the red human road or the yellow plant road. Now, the yellow plant road is done with teaching plants, and the red human road is done without. And this is a shift in our assemblage point that is a more permanent type shift, and it takes longer to go down these particular steps. And there are different steps along the way that are clearly defined on both roads. And you'll know when you're at that spot. Now, when you're at that spot, you don't always hold it for the rest of your life. You might have to work yourself back into that spot, and you might not ever get to the bottom, but there are definite benefits for doing this. This is like an assemblage point shifting of your soul, let's say. So I want to share a little short with you. The first step down is having no attachments. Now, what I mean by this is that our heart isn't set on a certain outcome. We can be happy with several different outcomes. We've also reached a point where we don't care what others do or think. We're happy pleasing ourselves. This could be described as a place where we're willing to think outside of the box, try unconventional methods, and experiment with new paths to success. Most people are afraid of trying new things because they don't want others to see them fail. They don't want others to think they're stupid. But if something isn't working for you, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results certainly can't be considered smart. So, at this fifth step, we've decided not to attach our self-esteem to the opinions of others. The sixth step is called no pity. We have no pity for ourselves. We see clearly all the ways we trick ourselves into losing energy. We see how we tell ourselves we've had a rough day, we deserve a break, and this task is unfair to us in some way, and therefore it should remain undone. We successfully move past this step with the help of the inner elders. It should never be done with the fear feeders. For example, we might find ourselves saying, "Today was so stressful. I know I had things I wanted to do, but I really just feel like watching TV for the rest of the night." A fear feeder voice would say, "You lazy thing. Just because today was hard doesn't mean you get to be a couch potato all evening." On the other hand, our inner elders might say, "Is that really what would make you happy in the long run, sweetie? Because I think you're going to look back at this night and feel like you wasted your time. Wouldn't you feel better finishing up the day by getting something accomplished that you wanted to do?" So we don't allow ourselves to have pity. We don't give in to the needy, wounded child syndrome. The next step is controlled dreaming. Now, there's a lot to this step. This isn't a step that happens once and then we move on. In fact, most of these steps are things we will work on for the rest of our lives in one way or another. To sum it up, what we're trying to do here is to focus our dream state to where we can manipulate it. This will set the stage for it to manifest what we want to happen in our waking state. I should also point out that many of the elders say life is a dream, so controlled dreaming also refers to the ability
to take control of our life, to not be affected by others. And this is what native strength is all about. To be true to yourself in any environment, to not be thrown off course by anyone or anything. So this 7th step, and you may remember that 7 stands for freedom, is learning how to dance between the two worlds successfully. Controlled dreaming is a process that deserves more in-depth study, and we'll do that in a later episode. At the 8th step, we are considered enlightened. Once here, we can't return to our previous states. Our empathy here is so great that we can put ourselves in another's shoes to the point where we can gain knowledge and skill through their experience without having traveled that path ourselves. It's said that we have no personality at this step. This is how it appears to others, because they won't be able to predict our reactions or behaviors. When we reach the 9th step, we've achieved the warrior's freedom. This is the point where we aren't influenced by past patterns of behavior. We have the freedom to create our own new patterns. The 10th step is called silent knowing. This gives us the ability to recall the lessons of the last 45 lifetimes while still in this body. The 11th and final step is the fire from within. This is the level of enlightenment that allows you to have knowledge of all lifetimes in all worlds.
So these more permanent, deeper shifting of the assemblage point on the red human road or the yellow plant road are done as part of what is known as the great work. And that is the work of our soul to mature and to progress while we're in life on our path and to become a better person. And not only a better person for everybody else and the rest of the world, but a better person to ourselves. It's all about, as I've said many times before, making ourselves better, knowing that we're only competing with ourselves. So this kind of a permanent assemblage point shift with the red human road or the yellow plant road can be quite fulfilling and enlightening and give you a totally new perspective on life. Now, I wanted to make you aware that many times in the past I've talked about doing an episode on the yellow plant road. And I've held back because it's so in-depth and I'm afraid it might encourage someone to use a teaching plant on their own without proper instruction and help and support. So I've kind of held back on that. But I am putting out a little course on Udemy. And when it's available, there will be links in my future videos below in the descriptions. And it's about that teaching plant path and teaching plants, ayahuasca, peyote, magic mushrooms, those kinds of things. So if you're interested in that yellow plant road, I'm not encouraging you to try a teaching plant. I want to make that perfectly clear. And I'm just encouraging you, if you're curious about them, to look into my course. Thank you very much for watching.